Today, we're diving into a really interesting and kind of complex organization called XONJ. They pitch themselves as something totally new, a whole different way to think about business, education, and work. I mean, their own documents describe a system that's part school, part contractor network, and part self-contained economy. So let's try to figure out what's really going on inside this XONJ ecosystem.
So, what is XONJ? Honestly, the more you read about it, the harder it is to pin down. Is it an educational program, a network for contractors to get work, or is it something way more ambitious, like a full-on economic engine? The big question is, can it actually be all of these things at once? And this is where it gets kind of weird, and you see that contrast plain as day. On the one hand, you've got this very formal, almost government-looking logo for their Office of Financial Management. But then on the other hand, you have an NFT token with little cartoon characters on it. This mix of super serious corporate branding with new, playful tech stuff, it pops up again and again, and it really makes you scratch your head and wonder what kind of company this is. Okay, so let's try to peel back some of these layers. If you look at their own materials, the whole XONJX model seems to stand on three main pillars. First, it's a training program designed to teach you practical skills. Second, it's a network that helps its members get contracts, both from the government and from private companies. And third, and this is the really wild part, they call themselves a complete economic ecosystem. They use this phrase, full-stack economic transformation. So we're not just talking about getting you a job, they're trying to build a whole new economy around you. Let's start with that education piece, because they've given it a pretty cool name, the 13th grade. So their whole argument is that our normal school system, from kindergarten through 12th grade, is missing something. There's a missing grade. And that's what their 13th grade is supposed to be. It's not about essays and theories. It's all about teaching you the practical life skills they believe you need to actually make it in the real world. And they draw a really clear line in the sand. Traditional schools teach academic subjects, but the 13th grade, that's all about stuff like money management, fixing your credit, how to actually run a business, landing federal contracts, and real hands-on trade skills. Okay, so let's say you're on board with this philosophy. How do you actually get in? Well, the front door to the whole thing is what they call their vendor network. The process they lay out seems pretty straightforward. Step 1, you pay a buy-in fee. Then you fill out a bunch of paperwork to list your skills. After that, they add you their system, and boom, you can start getting work orders and training. So what's the price of admission? It's a one-time $1,000 buy-in. And in their documents, they make a point of comparing this to what they say other training programs cost, which they claim can be anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. But here's the hook. That initial $1,000 is positioned as the key to unlock something much, much bigger. The documents say that once you're in the network, you can apply for up to $100,000 in franchise financing, for equipment, trucks, whatever you need to grow your business. And this creates their core sales pitch. You turn that $1,000 investment into a potential $100,000 in financing. That's a 100-to-1 leverage play. You can see why that would be a really powerful idea for someone trying to start a business. So who are they aiming this at? Well, pretty much everyone. The target audience is incredibly broad. They mention students as young as 10 years old, new business owners, people with side hustles, veterans, and even contractors who are already established. They're casting a really, really wide net. Okay, so all of this, the education, the network, the financing, it all builds up to their biggest, most ambitious claim, that XONJX isn't just a company, it's a completely self-contained ecosystem. And you can really feel that ambition in their own marketing. I mean, listen to this quote. "We engineer full-stack economic transformation." Whoa, that's not just about giving you a service. That's about fundamentally changing your entire economic life. And how do they plan to do it? Well, by having over 10 different service divisions all under one roof. And the range is just staggering. We're talking everything from construction and solar power to farming, media, finance, logistics, and even legal services. They're trying to cover basically every corner of the economy. A perfect example of how this all fits together is what they call their agrivoltaics division. You can see it here, solar panels set up right over farm crops. So this isn't two separate businesses. It's one integrated system where their energy division and their farming division are working together. That synergy is at the heart of their whole pitch.
And the benefit, at least for the customer, is that it takes you from chaos to order. Instead of trying to manage a bunch of different subcontractors, you get a single team that's accountable for everything. One group handles the financing, the paperwork, the building, all of it, from start to finish.
So this all brings us to the real core of the project. If you look past the jobs and the financing, what's the ultimate vision? What are they really trying to build? When you boil it all down, the entire system is designed to be an engine for building generational wealth. And this goes right back to that 13th grade idea. The ultimate goal is to give people the practical knowledge about money, about contracts, about business that lets them build real, lasting success for themselves and for their families. So you can kind of break their whole value proposition down into 3 simple numbers. It starts with that small $1,000 buy-in. What does that get you? Access to this massive infrastructure of over 10 service divisions, plus mentorship from a network of more than 15 certified professionals in different trades. So how do you manage an operation this huge? Well, according to them, everything is controlled by a central body called the Office of Financial Management, or O.F.M. This one office is supposed to make sure the whole ecosystem runs with, and I'm quoting here, federal precision. That is a very bold claim for a private company to make.
And their whole sales pitch is meant to completely change how you think about hiring someone. They say, you're not hiring a contractor. You're partnering with an economic ecosystem. You're plugging your project into this big machine that they claim is purpose-built to get the job done.
So, in the end, it's a breathtakingly ambitious model. It's education, finance, and dozens of skilled trades all rolled into one. And that leaves us with a big question. Can one organization, one ecosystem, really master that many different industries all at the same time? Or is there a massive risk that comes with being that complex?